Hey guys, how you doing this morning? Just going for a nice beautiful walk on a nice beautiful day. Hopefully I've got new technology for how to deal with the wind that's been cutting into the mic. So hopefully that new technology will help us out. What are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about the death cultist Doug Ford, right? Doug Ford is attempting to reopen the economy, right? Basically put people back to work so that they can go get their Timmies, go eat inside a restaurant, right? So that the rich people can go eat inside of a restaurant while the poor people serve them, right? This is the structure of our economy. Make sure that the poor people are working as hard as they can while the rich people, oh, we can't have rich people be bored. Oh, if those rich people are bored, oh, what a devastating thing for our economy, right? This, of course, is all happening in the middle of a spike in cases. We never actually dipped below 1,000 cases here in Ontario. We never actually went down any lower. We never actually got to a point where anybody in the medical community was saying it's safe to start reopening. Nobody was actually saying that in the medical community. And yet here's Doug Ford trying to reopen the economy while the medical community is saying, hey, cases are increasing. We're going up, right? We're about to crest 2,000 cases a day. We're about to crest over 400 people inside of the ICU on a day-to-day basis. And this is all happening while the nurses of Ontario and the doctors of Ontario are reporting high levels of PTSD inside of their communities, right? Imagine you're working a job and people are walking away with high levels of PTSD while the leadership, who's actually responsible for making the decisions about your health and your safety, are saying, nah, let's just reopen everything and make it far worse for you, right? This is the Ford administration to a T, right? Did the people who are going to work, the frontline workers, the heroes, the essential workers, right? Did they get a raise? No. Did the nurses actually get any benefits? Are they going to get anything out of this? No. Who is actually benefiting from this idea of, oh, well, let's reopen the economy while the medical industry itself, while the people who are involved in these frontline positions are saying, can you just give us a minute? Like, can you just give us a bit of extra time, right? We've got a vaccine rollout happening. We've got a cresting third wave that's coming our way. Can you just give us an extra month maybe before you reopen everything and make the situation far, far worse? But that's not how Doug Ford thinks, right? Doug Ford cares about one thing, and that's money for Doug Ford, right? He doesn't care about human life. He doesn't care about sustainable policies. He doesn't care about any of that. He doesn't even care about telling the truth, right? He cares about money for himself. And if that means that he needs to reopen the economy, get a whole bunch of people sick, cause a bunch of mental distress for the medical community, so be it, right? So be it. That's exactly what he's going to do. That's exactly how he's going to act. And that's exactly what we're seeing right in front of us. If you're one of the people who dip out of this video at this point, please make sure you just leave a like, share, subscribe, right? Send it around, comment, do all the things. Hey, if you want to toss some money my way down in the Patreon down below, you can help a brother out. Spread leftist messaging around the internet. We need more of it. We need to combat these death cultists head on, right? So, Doug Ford lied his way into power, right? He has broken literally every promise he made on the campaign trail, which was basically nothing in the first place. He proved the minute he got into office that what he wanted to do was start a class war between the wealthy and the poor, right? He committed austerity against the populace. He canceled the basic income pilot program, which was successful and was working. He did everything he could in order to dismantle the social security system that exists in this province so that he could put money in his own bank account. That's what it's all about, right? There's a reason why he's pushing through legislation as fast as possible. There's a reason why he's trying to get more long-term care homes built and privatized. It's because he's pulling the Mike Harris grift, right? He got into power to do one thing and one thing only, which was set himself up and his kids for the rest of their lives, so that when your grandparents and when you are in these long-term care homes, dealing with bug infestations, dealing with poor quality food, dealing with abandonment on a full-scale level, at least you know you'll be lining Doug Ford's pockets, right? Because that's how these long-term care homes actually work. We are dealing now with a death cult. Doug Ford is a death cultist. He's not interested in human life. He's not interested in helping people. He's not interested in any of these things. And even more than that, right? He's following the federal conservatives' statement that they don't think climate change is real, right? Doug Ford at least has the political awareness and the political savvy to not stand up and declare it, that he thinks climate change is fake. But everything he's doing indicates that that's the case, right? He's dismantling any climate change gains we've made. He's dismantling these organizations. He's dismantling these things, right? He's going after the meager, tiny institutions that we had actually put in place to actually do something about this climate change issue, right? And he's paving over the wetlands. He's paving over these places so that he can build like another long-term care home to jam your elderly into so that he can profit off of their misery. Like, we are in a high-level crisis. We are in a high-level crisis, and the people who are right at the top of it are the conservatives, without a doubt. They're not helping us. They're doing everything they can to hurt us. They're doing everything they can to pull us backwards, down into a downward spiral. And we're just standing here being like, oh, well, you know, this time the conservatives, I guess they did this, and maybe we'll swing over to liberal again. Is it literally going to have to take like a full-scale destruction for us to actually go, well, maybe we should vote for someone else? Is it literally going to have to take like the absolute dismantlement of our civil society, right? Is it going to have to take a war? Is that what it's going to have to take, right? One of the things that these right-wing death cultists like to talk about in the middle of this, in the middle of the Black Lives Matter movement, right? Oh, well, they're committing acts of vandalism and violence. They're smashing up the place, and oh, we can't have that. It's like, as if we aren't in the middle of a war inflicted on us by the death cultists. As if the institutions that have been erected by the death cult aren't systematically assaulting and attacking us. As if the institutions erected by this rapacious group of right-wing sociopaths aren't directly affecting the food and shelter that we actually are able to gain access to. And they're crying because a couple of windows got broken, right? They're crying because people fought back. This is the absurdism of the right-wing position, is that they refuse to insist that they refuse to even acknowledge that what they are doing is waging a war against the populace. And then they cry when the populace fights back. This Doug Ford guy, I can't imagine a worse individual to have in a position of power at this moment, right? Take a look at China, right? Take a look at China at this moment, right? China has no cases of coronavirus. Why is this not widely reported? Why does nobody talk about this? This is the originator country, right, where this virus comes from. The consensus among the World Health Organization now is that this virus comes out of like essentially a zoo, or like a breeding program that the Chinese had going on with multiple different exotic type animals and all of this kind of stuff, right? Which, what are you gonna do? So this virus springs up in the originator country, and it's already gone, right? They've already dealt with it. It's already happened. Here we are a year on, right? And we're dealing with our third wave of it, right? And it's for very simple reasons. We never took it seriously because we don't value human life. We don't value the lives of the poor. We don't value the homeless. We don't value the precarious workers, right? What do we seem to value? Doug Ford's wallet. That's what we seem to value. Like, we can do better than this. Obviously we can. Like, as a species, we can do better than this. There are places that have done better than this, right? But we refuse to actually compare ourselves to the countries who have actually eradicated the virus. We refuse to actually compare ourselves to the people who have actually dealt with this appropriately and have actually done something about it. We continuously compare ourselves to the United States. We continuously look down south to the rapacious Nazis and the fascists down there and go, well, at least we're not rapacious Nazis and fascists. What? In no way should we be comparing ourselves to the United States. We should have absolutely no interest in paying any attention to what these guys are doing as they self-immolate and destroy themselves. The only reason we should look at these guys is to say, how do we stop that? How do we get away from that? The farther away we are from that, the better off we'll be, obviously. But we don't seem to be capable of that. We seem to keep wanting to elect right-wing goons who are clearly structuring the society so that they can make a buck for themselves, right? While promising insipid, stupid policies like buck a beer. Like, is that how dumb we are? Is that how dumb we are? Are we so dumb as a people that we're literally willing to sell out our entire society, sell out our neighbors, sell everything so that we can get beer that's a buck a can? Like, we can't be this stupid, right? But seems like the proof's in the pudding, right? Seems like the proof's in the pudding. That turns out we're very gullible, very stupid people who can be bribed with the dumbest, the dumbest possible suggestions and the dumbest possible ideas, right? Jeez Louise. So, what do we do, right? Well, first and foremost, stop voting conservative, right? Start calling them what they are, a group of rapacious death cultists, right? Who are actively interested in destroying the society. They're not interested in helping anybody. They're not interested in helping anything. They're interested in their money. They're interested in their wallet. Second of all, join third-party, non-affiliated political movements, right? Anti-capitalist movements. People who have stated outright and who are fighting in favor of the populace instead of a small group of capitalists who do no work, help no one, and continuously fund sociopaths who are attempting to reopen our economy in the midst of the third wave. Like, what are we gonna wait until we're at like 3,000 cases daily? Are we gonna wait until we have 500 cases in the ICU daily? Are we gonna wait? Like, because the plan literally seems to be just, well, people will die, but we'll get the vaccine in. Don't worry. The vaccine will come through, and those people will have died, but that's fine, right? We'll just let God sort that out, right? We are talking about a group of far right-wing evangelical Christians, Christian fascists, right? We are talking about people who definitely have created a dividing line between the poor and the rich, and that when Doug Ford says for the people, what he means is for the rich people. The poor are just NPCs, they can go die, and that's fine. Join these third-party, non-affiliated political movements, right? Vote in blocks, terrify the political establishment, make it very clear that we are not allied with groups like the NDP, the Liberals, certainly not the Conservatives. Make it very clear that we are allied with each other in the populace so that we vote as blocks, so that they have to respond to our demands, so that they have to listen to us, or else we will abandon them the way they've been abandoning us for the last 40 years. And more importantly than any of this, guys, honestly, you are a wonderful person, right? This is something I want to spend way more time talking about than I do. You are doing really great. You live in a society that is actively gaslighting you, that is actively denigrating you, that is actively pretending as though you are not a valuable person, right? They have all the reason in the world to want to do this, right? Because if they can convince you that your self-worth is zero, then they can pay you nothing. Then they can pay you just at the bare minimum wage. Then they can make you desperate, they can make you poor, and have you believing that it's your fault, right? While simultaneously selling you a fiction or selling you a narrative of self-help to pluck you on up. These guys are simultaneously crushing your soul while selling you products to lift you back up, right? This is the demonic structure of our system, and you are caught in it, and we can do better. You're wonderful. You're lovely. Good luck. We're gonna need it.